Israel has once again been shaken by a military strike. This time, it did not come from Gaza, nor from Lebanon. It came from Yemen. The Yemeni Armed Forces have claimed responsibility for launching a long-range missile, identified as the Palestine II, which struck an airport in southern Israel. The attack took place on Wednesday, August 27, 2025, and according to Yemeni officials, the missile hit its target with precision. Military spokesperson Brigadier General Yahya Sare declared in an official statement that this operation was a direct response to Israel's ongoing aggression. Sare stated that the targeted airport has been completely paralyzed, flight operations suspended, and civilians rushed into shelters as panic spread across the occupied territories. This was not simply a military maneuver, it was a message. Sare emphasized that Israel's blockade on Gaza, which has caused starvation and a deep humanitarian crisis, can no longer go unanswered. The Palestine II missile, he explained, is both retaliation and a stern warning. Lift the siege or face the consequences. The international community is now closely monitoring these developments. Has Yemen opened a new chapter in the resistance against Israel? And how will Israel's military, often praised for its advanced defense systems, respond to this unprecedented strike? Reports from regional media, particularly Al Mayadeen, confirmed the Yemeni claim and highlighted the significance of this strike. According to these reports, the missile attack specifically targeted a small airport in the Yavneh area, south of Tel Aviv. Witnesses described scenes of chaos as air raid sirens blared across the region. Thousands of residents rushed to underground shelters, fearing further escalations. For Israel, the psychological impact of this operation is perhaps as damaging as the physical strike itself. Despite boasting one of the world's most advanced defense systems, including the Iron Dome and David Sling, the fact that a Yemeni missile penetrated its airspace and hit an operational airport raises serious questions. Analysts suggest this strike exposes vulnerabilities in Israel's defense architecture and emboldens other resistance groups. From Yemen's perspective, the operation was not just retaliation but a carefully calculated show of strength. By striking beyond Gaza and Lebanon, the Yemeni Armed Forces demonstrated their ability to project power across long distances. This marks a strategic escalation, signaling that the geography of the conflict is no longer limited to Israel's immediate borders. The coming days will reveal whether this attack was a one-time warning, or the start of a broader campaign coordinated with other regional actors opposing Israel. Brigadier General Yahya Sare, the official spokesperson for the Yemeni Armed Forces, delivered a strong statement following the operation. In his televised address, Sare declared that the missile had hit its target with high accuracy and achieved all its intended objectives. He framed the strike as a direct response to what he described as the ongoing siege, starvation, and aggression imposed by Israel on Gaza. Sare emphasized that Yemen could not remain silent while Gaza's civilian population endures severe humanitarian suffering. He warned that as long as the blockade and military assaults continue, Yemen will escalate its operations. His words carried a tone of defiance, signaling that Yemen's role in the conflict is no longer symbolic but increasingly operational. Observers noted that Sare's rhetoric aligns with the broader messaging of the Axis of Resistance, a coalition that includes Hezbollah, Hamas, and other groups united against Israeli actions. By echoing this narrative, Yemen positions itself as an active member of this regional alliance, capable of inflicting material damage on Israeli infrastructure. This statement also serves as a psychological weapon, intended to instill doubt among Israeli citizens about their government's ability to protect them. With air travel disrupted and millions forced into shelters, Sare's message resonated far beyond Yemen, amplifying the perception of Israel's growing vulnerability. The immediate aftermath of the strike created significant disruptions inside Israel. Reports confirmed that flight operations at the targeted airport were halted indefinitely, with several incoming and outgoing flights either delayed or redirected. Authorities rushed to assess the extent of the damage while attempting to reassure the public that the situation was under control. However, the images circulating on social media told a different story. Videos showed panicked travelers evacuating terminals, while families rushed into designated shelters. The tension highlighted how fragile daily life becomes when unexpected threats penetrate Israel's security umbrella. For a nation that prides itself on technological superiority and rapid defense response, such scenes were both shocking and unsettling. Military analysts argued that this event was more than just a tactical strike. It represented a symbolic victory for Yemen, proving that even a country under years of blockade and economic hardship could still carry out an operation capable of shaking Israel's sense of safety. Meanwhile, for the Israeli government, the pressure intensified as opposition voices began questioning how such a breach could occur despite billions spent on missile defense. International reactions quickly followed the Yemeni announcement. In the Arab world, the strike was celebrated by some groups as a bold act of resistance against what they view as Israeli oppression in Gaza. Social media platforms across the Middle East lit up with praise for the Yemeni Armed Forces, portraying the operation as a sign of solidarity with the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, Israeli officials condemned the attack, labeling it an escalation that further destabilizes the region. They pledged to respond with firm measures, though details of potential retaliation remained undisclosed. Western media outlets highlighted the growing risks of regional spillover, warning that such incidents could ignite a wider confrontation involving multiple state and non-state actors. In humanitarian circles, attention turned once again to Gaza, where the blockade and continuous bombardments have created one of the world's most severe crises. Analysts pointed out that the Yemeni strike, though militarily limited, successfully shifted international focus back to the suffering in Gaza, a strategic outcome Yemen likely intended. This dual narrative, military disruption in Israel and renewed attention to Gaza's plight, underscored the operation's layered significance. Yemen had not only delivered a physical strike, but also influenced the regional and global conversation about the ongoing conflict. Inside Israel, the government faced mounting pressure as citizens demanded accountability for the security breach. Opposition parties seized the moment to criticize Prime Minister Netanyahu's administration, arguing that years of overconfidence and reliance on technology had blinded leadership to unconventional threats. The image of an Israeli airport brought to a halt by a missile from Yemen struck a nerve across the political spectrum. Security experts noted that the incident could mark a turning point in Israel's defense strategy. While the Iron Dome and other systems are designed to intercept incoming threats, the Yemeni strike exposed the challenge of long-range and unexpected launches from unconventional directions. For the Israeli public, it was a sobering reminder that no shield is impenetrable. At the same time, Israeli civilians struggled with anxiety. Families reported spending hours in shelters, while business operations near the targeted airport experienced severe disruptions. The sense of vulnerability weighed heavily, creating a psychological impact that extended beyond the physical damage. For Yemen, the symbolism was clear. Despite isolation and war at home, its forces could still project power and challenge Israel's narrative of invulnerability. The strike was not just a military act, it was a statement aimed at both Israel's government and its people. Regional powers closely monitored the aftermath of the Yemeni strike. Iran, a longtime supporter of Yemen's Houthi movement, was quick to praise the operation as a legitimate response to Israeli aggression in Gaza. This endorsement raised concerns in Washington and European capitals about a potential widening of the conflict into a broader regional war. Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, meanwhile, found themselves in a difficult position. On one hand, they publicly condemned the strike to maintain ties with Western allies. On the other, their populations expressed sympathy for the Palestinian cause and celebrated Yemen's bold action. This duality highlighted the fragile balance regional governments must maintain between international diplomacy and domestic sentiment. Military analysts suggested that the attack could set a precedent for similar operations in the future. If Yemen's forces demonstrated the ability to reach deep into Israeli territory, other groups might seek to replicate the strategy, raising the stakes for Israel's security establishment. For the international community, the incident underscored the urgent need for de-escalation. Yet with emotions running high and strategic interests at play, the likelihood of immediate diplomatic breakthroughs appeared slim. Instead, observers warned of a prolonged period of heightened tension across the Middle East. In conclusion, the Yemeni missile strike on an Israeli airport represents more than just a tactical success. It symbolizes the shifting dynamics of power in the Middle East, where non-state actors and marginalized forces increasingly influence the regional balance. For Israel, the incident is a stark reminder that its borders are not impenetrable, and its policies in Gaza carry consequences far beyond immediate battlefields. For Yemen, the strike elevated its military and political profile, demonstrating resilience despite years of siege and internal war. The operation was framed not only as retaliation but also as a call for solidarity with Gaza, linking Yemen's struggle to the broader cause of Palestinian resistance. The shockwaves of this attack will likely reverberate in both regional and global arenas. Questions of security, diplomacy, and humanitarian responsibility now dominate discussions, with no clear resolution in sight. As tensions escalate, civilians on all sides remain the ones bearing the heaviest burden, seeking safety amid uncertainty.